This week I learned that apparently a lot of people believe that I would actually delete a video due to negative comments. You guys do know I made a video trashing Name of the Wind, right? Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update as we are getting closer and closer to the end of 2021. There's lots of things to talk about, lots of things going on the channel, lots of things in the personal life and all that, but you're not here for that. You're here for that. You're here to hear about the books, guys. So let's do, like usual, let's begin with what am I reading? I did finish, well, not that one, because that one's ridiculous. I did finish God Blind by Miss Anna Stevens. Quick read. It's funny, you're reading a Malazan book at the same time and you feel like another 400-page book is a quick read. That's going to happen quite a bit, but quick chapters help you really just kind of fly through this. But I did promise myself I was not going to start book 2 until I got a little further into Reaper's Gale, which, as you guys can see, is not going to... And the thing is, you look at that and you're like, wow, that's really not that much. Page 239, you guys. Page 239, and you're less than 20% through the book. So, yeah, these are beasts. I'm not going to lie, guys. This is probably going to take me all month to read. It's not that it's bad. It's just, gosh, guys, there's so much stuff. I scheduled so much stuff on this channel, guest appearances and stuff like that. And then combined with just December being a busy month because there's a lot of things that go on with the kids in the month of December and the Christmas holidays and stuff like that and family and stuff. So it's been a crazy start to December. I do have some time off after Christmas, so that will be probably when I make up a lot of time. But my goal of doing like 6 books this month, I don't think it's going to happen. So my goal really is to get through this in December right now. It started quite slow. There are certain camps that I'm really interested in, and other ones I'm kind of like, that's not what I'm here for. So basically it's a book 1 of a Malazan book where you're always like, it's not what I want him to talk about. Why is he talking about this? But I think by the end of the book, you end up liking these things, usually. So I'm still interested in the main event of this book, if you know what I'm saying, and I'm hoping that it is going to be coming sooner rather than later. Let's go ahead and move along to what am I going to read now. Obviously, I'll be picking that up after... I'm going to get at least through book 2 of Malazan before I start this one, because if not, I'm just going to completely neglect Malazan again like I did with God Blind. And this is book 2 in God Blind, in case you're curious. But yeah, I'm excited. It is a little shorter than God Blind. So I do still intend to finish, at the bare minimum, Reaper's Gale and the God Blind trilogy this month. The King and Crichton stuff is always going to be the thing where I got to put something off, guys. That's what's going to be. But that's really all I got planned. I didn't continue reading Berserk this week, guys, because I keep forgetting to bring my iPad to work, and that is when I do it. On my lunch break at work, I'll always just read a volume or so of Berserk, and I just keep forgetting to bring it up to the office. So I'll try to get back on that this week. Again, I'm so close to finishing that arc that everybody wants me to talk about. So I'll try to get back on that here soon. But right now, it just feels like a mad dash to Christmas. If you guys got kids, it takes up your whole month, and then you got extracurricular stuff like scouts and stuff going on at the school and stuff. It's just, it's tough. It's tough, but this is the life that we have chosen, right? So let's go ahead and move along to this week on the channel. I know it's probably the fastest I've gotten through those first 2 segments before, right? But yeah, really, just there's nothing really new to talk about. I'm still reading the same book as I was reading last week, but I double booked myself on a couple things, which we'll talk about. Again, let's get on this week on the channel. Now, look, I got to tell you guys a little personal. My mom did have a heart attack, and she was in the hospital, and it was very scary. I don't know if any of you guys have been through anything like that, but I lost my dad the same way about 4 years ago. So when I got the call, and then the hospital puts me on hold for 40 minutes, I'm automatically assuming the worst. So it was several times of, okay, everything's stable now, and then, oh God, we've got to have an emergency procedure. So it was a very scary weekend for me. Lots of people reached out, and I do appreciate that. I know that's something that usually a YouTuber's not going to post on the community tab like I did. It was something that I felt like the community really did help me. Once I told them what was going on, they were really great about it, and I appreciate that because it really does help more than people think it does. And it was really just a sign of relief, a big sigh of relief that everything's okay. She's back home now. You know, she was in the hospital for 5 days, but she's back home now. They got the bypass surgery is scheduled, so it's a scary time. Like I said, I just lost my father that way in 2017, and so it was brought back a lot of memories. You know, so. Hopefully she'll listen to her doctors, you know, and I'll have her for a little while. Yeah, but yeah, it's just a slap on the face when you realize you're that old that you got to worry about your parents in that way. It's really, really rough, guys. Enjoy them while you got them, and always return their text messages. Because the first thing I thought was, oh my God, I didn't return her text message last night because it was really late, not because I'm a mean person. But as for this week on the channel, guys, I did go ahead and get out As the Wheel Turns, Season 1, Episode 5. That's the one that, like I said, I got accused of deleting it for negative comments. What happened is I was having my, if you're a patron, we get to have a Zoom call each month where everybody can come and we can have a Zoom call together. And we were in the middle of that, and I tried to upload that video at the same time I was doing that, and I accidentally uploaded the video that was not edited. And it's not that there was anything bad in it, it's just I spent so much time, you know, putting the still images in and stuff like that I do in that so you can see what scene we're talking about. And I was like, no, I spent a lot of time on that. I'm going to upload the right one. So when I had deleted the old one, it already had like 1,200 views and it already had like 100 comments. And I'm assuming that most of them were negative because that was all the comments on there that I was deleting it because of all the negative comments in there. Guys, negative comments or channel engagement, I don't care. I put that out there because this channel, you're allowed to disagree with my opinion. I'm always fine with that as long as you're not being a jerk about it. I've got no problem with you leaving negative criticism. It's fine. That's how we learn. It's how we grow. But you know those Wheel of Time videos are always going to get quite heated, you know, and that's fine. But yeah, no, I can assure you I don't delete videos because of negative comments. Like I said, I think I did one Witcher versus Wheel of Time a while back. And then, of course, my unpopular opinion on Name of the Wind. And I think that's mostly negative comments, and those videos have not went anywhere. So I assure you it was a technical error. I'm not scared of you guys' negative comments. They don't bother me whatsoever. New series to start in 2022 and doing what I called Impermanent Ink. Again, these are new series I'm going to start that I'm not going to bump for anything. Because a lot of times you'll do a video like that as a booktuber and always know, well, you know, it's not like this is in stone. I can move these back again or move them forward or add new stuff. I want to talk about 5 series that I'm starting. Actually, it turned to 6 that I'm starting next year. Now, I want people to understand that means starting. That doesn't mean I'm finishing them all next year. Because some people are like, oh, you're going to regret that. I'm not going to regret starting 6 books next year. Something tells me I'll be able to start 6 new books next year. I might start the series and decide these aren't for me and not finish them. I also might not finish them all in a year. I might finish them the year after that and stuff. That's fine with me. What I wanted to get the point across in that video is that these are 6 series that I have wanted to start for a while, and I pushed back because of Malazan, because of other things, and I said, I'm starting these next year no matter what. Either I'm locked into a reread, or not a reread, a read-along with people on my Discord, or it's just series that I want to do, like Bernard Cornwell. I've just always put him off, and I want to stop doing it. So I made sure point, I'm doing that next year. Codex Alera, Joe Abercrombie with the Half a King, or the Shattered Sea. These are series I'm like, I don't have new books coming from some of my favorite authors next year. So I want to read something from them. So that's why I decided to do it that way. And got lots of interesting recommendations and stuff, a series that people are starting next year. And some people are disappointed I'm not starting a particular one. I'm like, look, guys, I'm only one person. There's other series I want to read, so I can't read everything. I wish someone would call me and be like, Mike, we're going to pay you 6 figures a year just to read. When that happens, guys, I'll read everything that you want me to. So still, by the way, if you have that kind of payroll, call me. Where I said that, you know, leaving negative comments isn't really going to bother me or whatever. So it might seem kind of contradictory, and I'm not going to shy away from that. People have brought up that I was kind of, you know, going back on my own word here when I made my Wheel of Time response video. Now, what this was really wasn't so much as to give a platform to negative comments. That's why I didn't put the names. That's why I didn't do a screen grab of these comments. Really what that video was one, I wanted to talk about why I love Wheel of Time, okay? And it was the community. The community was why I loved Wheel of Time, and I felt disappointed that the community is really chasing off people who are interested in reading the books for the first time. That's really what I was saying, but most of that video was more about no one can tell you that you are a fan or not. I do not like people telling, or basically accusing you of being a fake fan, or, you know, just being derogatory of your fandom at all. Look, no matter what kind of fan you are a fan of something. Have I read every Batman comic ever? Do I own every piece of merchandise from Batman? Of course not. Do I consider myself a big Batman fan? Absolutely. So I think trying to put fandoms on like a ranking scale, saying, you just read Wheel of Time 3 years ago. Well, I've been reading it for 30 years, so my opinion matters and yours don't. That to me is just absolutely reprehensible, and I can't stand it. So yeah, I wanted to talk about it, and I think a lot of people appreciated it. Of course, some people not so much, and I expect that. That's fine. Just know that that's not the kind of video I do very often. I'm not going to do a rant episode. I'm not yell at the camera guy. I'm not going to talk about it again, though. That's it, guys. That's what I wanted to say is I wanted to get that opinion out there, but I'm not going to harp on it. I'm not going to talk about it again. And people saying that I'm a hypocrite because I say that negative comments don't bother me, then I make a video like that. What I mean by that, guys, is negative comments, do they make me lose sleep? No, I'm not crying into my pillow over these comments, and I do chuckle at most of them. But I'm also not going to stand for people attacking other commenters on my channel and basically saying that I'm making stuff up. I think as a content creator, the biggest nerve you can hit is telling someone that they're being ingenuine. They're not being genuine. Sometimes talking is hard, isn't it? I think with me on this channel, I've always said I'm never going to bullshit you. I have unpopular opinions and things like that, and I want you to be fine with disagreeing with that because I'm fine with you disagreeing with it. But yeah, it's just anyway. I got my point across in that video, really. And if you feel like it's a bit hypocritical of me, fine. I'll take my lashes on that one. So there it is. Let's move along here. I did my review for Empire of the Vampire by Mr. J. Kristoff, and that was one that I think you can tell my enthusiasm for that. I was very, very excited because, guys, I used to love the vampire genre. And because I really came into it with Salem's Lot and Dracula and the Vampire Chronicles, and what happened to this genre the last 20 years, it just bummed me out. So I think in that video you can see that I was quite excited to have another vampire story that I feel like is aimed towards my target demo here. I was very interested in this, and it's not just because it's bad language. It didn't hurt, but yeah, I think it's fun when you discover a new author that has a back catalog. Like I just discovered Blake Crouch this past year, and he's got and I love what I've read so far, and I'm like, he's got this huge back catalog that I get to explore. I get to go back and explore other J. Kristoff things now, so I'm very, very excited about that. So in that review, I was very, very happy to talk about that book because I was very, very excited about it, and I thought it was just a great book. It's going to easily be on my top 10 of the year. I haven't actually put that together yet. We should probably talk about doing that soon. But yeah, I'm excited that the book was so great. And I'm excited that a lot of you did enjoy it, and there's a lot of people in that video saying that they are going to pick it up now. So I'm excited for that. Someone actually told me you should get a commission for how well you sold this book to me, and I said, getting you to read more is my commission. That's, again, it's why I do this channel. I want you guys to read more, and that's definitely one that I recommend. Now, it isn't on my channel, but I do want to talk about a couple of guest spots. I talked about that. I kind of double booked myself. I booked with Philip on his channel, and I also booked with Steve Talks Books on his channel. Now I want to talk about each of these videos. I talked with Steve Talks Books, and this is basically if you ever wanted to see me be in one of my own Talk About Nothing videos, that's the one, because I think we talked about books for about 10% of it. The rest of it is music and movies and video games and things like that. So it's a true Talk About Nothing, and I had a great time, and I'm glad that Steve, he asked me to come on the channel, told me that, look, I never get tired of hearing this, guys. When someone says I gave them the courage to start their own BookTube channel, that's awesome, man. That's just as wonderful to me hearing as you decided to read again because of my videos. That's awesome. I'm glad I've given people that courage to go out there and do it, because, look, guys, a lot of times book readers can be introverts, so getting in front of this camera, it takes a lot. It really does, and not everybody's natural with it. And it's hard for some people, and I get that. So someone telling me that I gave them that motivation to do it, that's awesome. And but Steve, just an awesome guy, and I'm glad that he invited me on, and I hope to talk to him again sometime. And then, of course, nothing new when I get to talk to Philip, but I always cherish those moments. He started a new series on his channel called Dear Dr. Fantasy, which I named for him, and I'm going to take credit for that every time, because we both love the dinosaur rock, and I was like, you got this great nickname, you're not playing it up enough. And so I said, how about Dear Dr. Fantasy, because that Dear Mr. Fantasy song by the rock outfit Traffic. I thought that was a great plan. But I'm glad he took my advice and used his name, and he had me on as his first guest for it. So that's his version of Talk About Nothing. So Philip's he's made his weekly update and his talk about nothing. Hey Philip, you should ever think about doing a why you should read? Yeah, that's a pretty good one you could do. Again, guys, I have no problems. I don't own rights to any of these formats. If you guys feel like you could do that on your channel, by all means, go for it. That's fine. Look, there's other channels out there that have completely ripped off my format. I'm just glad that they can't talk as good as me, or else I'd be out of business, So, again, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Listen to me, I talk about talking good, and I can't even say sincerest really that well. But check those discussions out. Great time. Thank you to both those gentlemen for inviting me. Let's talk a little bit about next week plans, guys. There are some things that are going to be happening next week. As we get closer to Christmas, things might get kind of hit or miss with how busy the schedule can get. But I am obviously going to be doing my As the Wheel Turns for this week with Madison, Season 1, Episode 6, called The Flame of Tarvalin. We're actually going to be recording that tonight because both of us are kind of busy this weekend. But I hope to get that edited and out sometime Saturday or Sunday. Try to get those out as quick as possible because I know people are looking to detox after they watch the new episode. That dropped today. Be doing my book haul sometime this week, I believe. It's a little smaller of a haul this month, and that's fine. That's fine. Because, guys, I'm completely out of room. I'm stacking books in the corner now. I'm thinking about just taking all my paperbacks into the game room out there in the main entryway, just because I don't have room for everything, and I got to start making room for the ones I really want to display. Right? I don't have another room for another shelf in here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shelves now. And unless I just completely put one around the ceiling or something like a drop down, I don't know what else to do. I can't put one behind me here. I wouldn't have enough room for my chair. So, again, these are always good problems to have. Something I can continue to ramp up my end of the year content. I'm trying to do just one of these a week so I don't just hammer you guys with end of the year content right at the end of the month. I think with this one, I'm going to do my standalones and palette cleansers I plan to read in 2022. And what this is as a fantasy fan, you get roped into these long series. Book 1 of 9, book 1 of 7, things like that. So every once in a while, it's nice to have just a one-off story, just a standalone, something that you can say, hey, this is just something I can read and not have to worry about this great big history of this lore. I can just read one and done. Those are always great to have. Now, palette cleansers might be something that might be in a series, something like that, but something that you feel like between big epic fantasy books you can read one, like I used Dresden Files before and things like that. So I think that's a kind of a fine line there, because you're saying, well, it's a palette cleanser, but it's a series. But it's one of those kind of series that, it doesn't require a huge amount of brain power. You can kind of get through it without all the huge world building and things like that. And it doesn't really affect what you're reading. Kind of helps you reset the cache and the brain a little bit. So I'll talk about those this week. And then, guys, if I have time, I am going to try to get up my Why I Decided to Read on Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn by Tad Williams, because we will be starting that read along on the Discord in January through April. So I want to talk about kind of that story about, even though if you are a constant watcher of this channel, you've heard the story a million times, but there are a lot of people who are discovering the channel every day. So I want to make sure that I get this story out, much like I did when I talked about Hyperion. It'll be similar to that. But I do want to talk about it and all the things I've heard about it, because this is a pretty legendary series that I feel like a lot of people actually haven't heard of, and I was actually surprised about that, because maybe it's just because I've had this this nagging presence in my life for the last 20 years telling me to read this series that I've heard about it. But I always thought this was a pretty popular one. Every time I went to the bookstore, I always saw it or other books by Tad Williams. So yeah, we're going to talk about that, and it should be a lot of fun. I always like making the Why I Decided to Reads, because I think instead of trying to sell it to you, I'm telling you how it was sold to me. It's a lot more fun. People might be asking about if you watch the Empire of the Vampire video, or if you follow the community tab or social media at all, you know that I have had Jay Kristoff agree to come on the channel and talk to me. That's not going to happen next week. We got a date locked in. That video will probably be releasing sometime on Christmas week. So lots of Christmas cheer to be in that video, I am sure. But I can't wait to talk to. We are on completely different sides of the globe, so it's going to be it was hard trying to kind of nail down a time that worked for both of us. But we have finally got one, and we're going to do it. And it'll be sometime, like I said, around Christmas. Look for it then. But that's it for books, guys. How about a little TV and movie talk before I go? We did watch a family Christmas movie, and it was called 8-Bit Christmas. This is direct to HBO Max, I believe. It's got Neil Patrick Harris. It is the story of him telling his child about how he got his original NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, obviously, I'm the target demographic for this, because we all have that memory about how we got our first Nintendo. I mean, it was just an iconic system. And it's one of those things I think that even if you were born after this, I think there'll be something about that, because getting the new console up until recently, when they just don't let you buy them anymore, that's a different rant altogether. I think it was just, everybody has that story about, before you had that kind of, disposable income as a kid, getting that system the first time, it was more than just nagging your parents for it and stuff. And it was fun. It was a fun, there's a lot of 80s nostalgia in it. You guys know that's all the rage right now, even though I think it's starting to slide to 90s nostalgia. But 80s nostalgia is always going to be something that my generation is going to love, and we're always going to be a sucker for. It's fine. We admit it. Lots of references in there were a lot of fun. But it was one of those movies I thought was just going to be just absolutely silly, but it actually had a lot of heart to it. It really did. And the ending was actually quite moving a little bit. So it's a real good father-son movie, I think, or father-daughter movie, for that sake, because he's telling the story to his daughter, but in the flashback, it's a lot of it about him and his dad's relationship that really grows over the course of the movie. So I think it had a lot more heart than I expected. So if you're there for the nostalgia, it's going to be there. And if you're there for the dad shit, as I call it, I think you'll find more than you're expecting. So it was good to see Steve Zahn again. I hadn't seen that guy in a while. So yeah, a lot of fun. As for plans, we already watched Wheel of Time. We watched it last night. But The Expanse started its final season, and it is weekly. So we'll probably fire that up this evening after we build a gingerbread house. That's what we plan on doing with the kids tonight, building a gingerbread house. And I'm always interested to see if we can get through putting all 4 walls of the gingerbread house up, because we always end up missing a wall, because my youngest usually eats one of the walls before we're done building it. But it's Christmas. What can you do? I do have a little bit of gaming talk before we go, guys. You do know that Halo Infinite coming out. Do you say Halo Infinite or Halo Infinity? Because I say Infinite. With me, Infinity has a Y at the end. But I've heard people calling it Halo Infinity. Anyway, Halo Infinite did come out. No, I did not get it because I do not have the new Xbox. I believe it's on Xbox One, too. Here's the thing. My kid has 2 gaming franchises, The Legend of Zelda and Halo, and I support both of these. These are great. I've played every Halo game. I've played every Zelda game and then we played all the Halo games together. Of course, they stopped doing couch co-op, so we can't do that anymore. But obviously he wants this, and I'm like, well, we ain't got the new Xbox, my man, and you still can't buy the damn things. So what I have decided to do is I'm going to get the kids Xbox Game Pass for Christmas. You guys don't know what Game Pass is by now. Look, this is like such a great deal. I don't know how this hasn't completely obliterated the competition. I think it's just because people don't know about it enough yet. They have different versions of the package, but basically, guys, you get hundreds of games that you can, or 100 games that you can play. I think it's just 100, but I think it rotates out like old Sega Channel used to. Anybody remember Sega Channel? No? Probably not. I think I was the only one I knew who had it. But Xbox Game Pass, you basically get like 100 games, some old, some new, but you get a lot of these first-party Xbox Microsoft games. You get day one. You can play them, and you're paying $10 or $15 a month for this service. And you can play Halo Infinite on day one with these things. It just came out, on Friday? When did it come out? On Tuesday. When did it come out? I don't know. Anyway, I didn't have it, so I didn't know. But anyway, I do know it came out this week. So you get to play new AAA game releases on day one for $15. This is going to crush the competition. I said this a while back, I think after E3, where I said this is why I think Microsoft is going to completely obliterate this gen of gaming, because Game Pass is unbeatable. This is the Netflix of video games, guys. It's something we've been waiting for. And I just think that some people are just can't believe that it's such a good deal. They don't believe it's true. They think there's strings attached. This is an incredible deal. And also, if you go if you go to the store and buy the gift card, you're paying the full price, or digital, even get the digital gift card. If you just go to the Game Pass website, you can subscribe for it, and you can get the first month for $1. That's awesome deal. So for now it's okay, well, how do I keep this until Christmas? Because I want to play Halo Infinite, So that's kind of where we're at now. But guys, Xbox Game Pass, what a deal! I think again. Amazing. Phil Spector, that dude has got his stuff together, I think. So I know everybody thinks that they feel like they got to be, I'm Team Sony, or I've never been that guy. Me, I just want good content. I never care about the brand things, and neither do my kids. So we're excited for Xbox Game Pass. We're going to be playing that like crazy. I think that's pretty much the day after Christmas through New Year. I'm off work, and I think that we are going to just wipe out this service. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, guys, that was my week. What is your week up to? You got your Christmas shopping done? How's your TBR for next year looking? Drop in the comments. Let me know what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you are playing, and I will talk to you there.